Hey everyone, welcome back to The Hidden Brick, where today we're going to build the LEGO Marvel Superheroes Rhino and Sandman Supervillain Team Up. So we've got Rhino over here, we've got Sandman, and the picture is really cool. I like the way Sandman is, because he, morphs out of sand. You can see him coming out of the sand right here, and then there's a big hand that's being made out of the sand right here. So pretty cool. We'll have to see how all this comes together as far as can we modify this and make the sand go other places and do other things. You can see on the back it kind of just shows you the same setup from the front, just a couple more play features. So we'll go ahead and cut the box open. Let me rotate this down so we can see. And right now there's a loose plate. Or actually, it's one of these large tiles. Alright. So, let's move the paperwork out of the way first. We have a large sticker sheet. We have the instruction book 1. There's a comic book. And we have instruction book number 2. So that's all the paper. We have numbered bags. Bag 1. 2 and a bag 3. And of course, don't forget, we have the large black 8x16 tile. So the first bag has a lot of gray color in it. Small bag of parts. Okay. The set has 386 pieces. Although it doesn't look like there's that many in the set. It looks like there's fewer just from the box art. Dropping stuff again. Alright, so we have 2 minifigures. We have Spider-Man. Nothing too special with this guy. If you have any Spider-Man sets, you probably already have this minifigure. So that's the first one. Next one is Rhino. And he consists of some light bluish gray legs, torso, and a head, and that's it. So it's a tank top that he's wearing, so you got the flesh colored arms that match the flesh colored head. So that's Rhino. And then of course you get the super jumper piece, this little clear piece, if you ever want to put the minifigures on there and just have them bounce around. I don't find it to be very fun, to be honest with you. It's not very accurate either. It just kind of randomly just hops them around. So we're going to build the Rhino mech type of vehicle that he can sit in or stand in and walk around and cause havoc. And it's consisting of quite a few small pieces in these anti-tiles. There we go. So I've got these kind of large ball joint pieces. Some 2x2 cornered bricks with a little chamfered corner. And a couple more of the ball joint pieces. Okay, so that's kind of the body element of the, so there'd be shoulders and legs sticking right here. kind of hard to tell exactly what it is yet, but I've been building more and more of these mech type characters here recently with the Ninjago sets and some other superhero sets, so kind of getting familiar with how they're made up of as far as what pieces are used where. Couple Technic pins. Now we have a Technic element. So that's going to create the little cage area that he can sit in. Have this pin joiner. We put 2 pins in and put it on that one side. And now we can build the other side. So that creates the little cage you could sit in. Alright, so now we're going to start building. So when you have one of these pieces, this is what's going to connect to these joints. So it's either going to be a leg or an arm. Let's build it and find out which one it is. Turn it over. Have a little mini ball joint and a little knuckle right there. And then a round anti-tile. And they show in the instructions this one going right there. Right, next one. Could be similar, just kind of a mirrored version of it. Turn it over. Put this one on the opposite way. This one goes there. Now we have 2 elements that are the same. So we have this plate with the little knuckle ball joint receptacle on the end. A plate and a plate. Slope with 2 white cheese slopes. Repeat that. Where's the other slope at? Right in front of me. Alright. These both attached to these smaller joints, just like that. And now these fold over like that. Wait a minute. Alright. Instructions are kind of confusing because they've had me turn this a slightly different way. Alright. That's how it goes. So these look like they are the legs. You've got some big calves and then the little feet right there with the white, I guess what you would call toes. Okay. Now we're going to make 2 arms. So starting with the same little knuckle receptacle piece. And these should be identical. It says 2X on it, so that usually means build two of the same thing. It looks similar to the way we did the upper leg portion. We have this element. Two of these modified plates with stud launcher on them. Attach these triggers into the stud launcher. Turn it over, gets an anti-tile, and that goes there. So instead of hands, this guy has stud launchers. Alright, that completes the second one. Bring this guy back over. So there's this big... it almost kind of looks like a gorilla right now, but we're going to build the rhino head. And that will make it look more like a rhino. So that's where we're at so far. The next is the beginning of the head element. Start with this modified plate with clips, panel, bracket, some teeth elements, another bracket, and a little rhino horn. Jumper plate at the top, another tooth element. Now we're going to do the bigger horn. It goes there. Bring this over, clip it up here. And that little rhino piece up there is going to be a little tricky. So there's our rhino head. So we got the big horn on the front and then the little secondary mini horn. Of course we have our white studs that you can launch out of the hands and immediately lose them as soon as you launch them behind all the furniture. And that's it for the rhino. So let's show you how we put the guy in. This folds down, little cage area. He stands right there, folds it back up, head down. There you go. That's his mech that he'll walk around and wreak havoc. I'm not quite sure what these little ball joints are here other than maybe just decoration. But they're there either way. Alright, we have a few extra pieces left over from bag one. Let's go ahead and move on to bag number two. There it is. Small bag of elements. Dump those off. And then you see immediately there's a lot of this sand color. I think officially it's considered tan, but to me it looks sand color. And I used to call it sand, but when I started buying extra pieces on Bricklink, they categorize it under tan. So this is Sandman. It's the only minifigure in this bag. And he is holding a sand-made hammer of some sort. So we start with a ice cream cone element, and then a modified brick with 2 studs on the side. We throw 1 stud across the desk. Put 2 studs on there, and then 2 1x1 sand colored tiles. And there's his big hammer that he made out of sand. And you can see the way the legs are sand colored, and then there's this print of the sand kind of coming up. He's got one of the sand arms that connects to the hammer. Then this side is his normal green shirt. It's actually like a prison shirt. If you remember from the movie that he broke out of the prison and became turned into that Sandman by some sort of machine or something that he inadvertently ran into, or something like that. It's been years since I've seen the movie, so someone will tell me if I'm right or wrong, but that's kind of the way the story goes on how he became Sandman, according to the movie. Now, I haven't seen any of the comic books or anything, so it may be slightly different in the comic books. Alright, so we're starting with the base of the construction site. So we've got, anywhere you see the tan color, that's sand, and the brown or grays or everything else is part of the construction site. Technic bricks. One, there's the other. This goes there. So we're creating a little play feature here. Like the way that hinges up and down. Couple slopes to help conceal that. Some of these tall brick elements. Adding these is what helps build out the structure real quick and minimal amount of parts. Small elements. Now we've got some of the big stuff built. They're a lot of smaller stuff to help create the details. Alright, so we're going to build a little structural member that's going across. Have the Technic brick with the axle hole in it. Plate and a jumper at the top. This goes all the way across, so those Technic bricks with the axle holes line up perfectly. Now we have this large, kind of a Technic panel type element. Goes there, and we're going to stick this Technic axle with a stop in that top hole. And it should line up with that brick that has the axle hole. There it goes. Goes all the way through and it stops. So that Technic piece is going to hold everything together nice and snugly. A couple of these Technic pins with the stud on it. Put a slope there. Another slope all the way down here. That covers up that Technic axle hole down there. And we have this tile. It'll go here, and it'll cover up all those axle pieces. So now you can't even tell that any of that Technic elements were there. Add a few more details at the top. This is the sand that's coming out of the ground that Sandman is going to be standing on. So now we're going to build the little hand. It's actually the big hand. It's going to be holding on to a villain or Spider-Man. Good guy or a bad guy, one of the two. Three of the fingers. The brick built kind of a Lego Creator style versus having those Bionicle finger pieces that they like to use. And we have one more. The only difference with this one is it doesn't have the stud on the end. And then this attaches here. So there's the hand element. Have a sign. And this gets our first sticker. It's a caution sticker. It's actually a pretty cool little sticker. Goes back there. And we have these orange 2x2 round bricks with 2x2 round tile with a stud on top. These go down here. Couple cheese slopes there. And we have these 4 gem elements that go underneath here. Not quite sure why, but they're under there. And that folds up on them. Alright, so that completes instruction book number 1. We're going to go ahead and end this video here. We're going to have part 2 coming up next. Make sure to check that out. Make sure to check out my other videos if you like build videos. That's all we have on this channel. So appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next one.